Hey everybody, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides. Let me just put my other earpiece in. Just wanted to touch base with you guys. It is Thursday evening. It's about 9:30. Let me see if that light is better. No, it's not better. Okay. It's about 9:30 in the evening, Thursday night. Just wanted to kind of give you guys the current events and let you know how things are going. Last night was a bit of a pokey night. I ended the night right around 125, so a little bit shy of the number I wanted to be at, but the weather was rainy, kind of blah, and honestly I think more than that was just the fact that the city was sleepy. Coming off of July 4th, long weekend, a kind of a 4-day weekend for most people, I think everybody was just fried and really just needed a night to recover. Tonight seems to be a little bit more on pace with what I expect for a weeknight. I'm sitting at about 65 plus, I don't know, $8 in tips at 9:30. So, you know, that's a $150 night if all goes as it should. So there you have it. On the home front, couple changes. I did get an appointment with the Uber leasing team. Actually, it was kind of a convoluted story, but I'll fill you guys in because it might be important that some of you know this if you're going to go down this road. As you know, I applied 3 weeks ago or so, got the approval, and then I was kind of put in a holding pattern with the exchange leasing team awaiting a vehicle. And fault my own, I was maybe a little bit too picky about my pricing points because I was kind of being greedy. But from a budget standpoint, I only knew what I knew based on the information I had, which was very minimal. So I got a message yesterday via email from Exchange Leasing Uber, you know, their corporate level email that, hey, your pre-approval is going to expire. So you better hustle up and make an appointment. So I called, made an appointment, bada bing, bada boom, here I am. I show up at their door at 4 o'clock. The guy that kind of checks me in says, hey, I know you have an appointment. We don't have any vehicles for you right now, but we can get you on a waiting list. I already knew that. So I said, well, look, let's just kind of talk and let's work through this a little bit because I need some information because I feel like I've been running around in circles a little bit. So maybe you can tell me a little bit more. So he checks me in. We talk about Uber for 5-10 minutes. Once he kind of realizes that I've been doing it for a while and I know the ropes, we talked about the exchange leasing program. And I'm not going to go into details. I don't feel it's right to talk their business for them. However, we get to the point where he says, look, these are the kind of cars we have. They're all sedans, all 4-door. We don't do SUVs. We don't do expensive luxury vehicles. We just do plain Jane 4-door sedans because that's what we feel makes the most sense. We buy them, we lease them out, blah, blah, blah. And he said, and this is where John from Exchange Leasing was amazing. He said, look, you know, just me being honest, these are what I see. I see a lot of leases falling into this $125 a week bracket, a little more, a little less, but thereabouts. I said, okay, that's something I wish I'd known 3 weeks ago because I can do 130, 135. This is where the winds of fate come in. And I always have said this, it's better to be lucky than skilled any day of the week. There's a woman named Jade. She's sitting over at a desk like maybe 20 feet from us. And we're the only 3 people in the room at the moment. She gophers up, just pops up. Hey, wait a minute, is your name Mike? Yeah, I just skipped over you because we actually have 2 vehicles that are coming back tomorrow and we'll be ready for take up tomorrow. I'm like, ta-da! Okay, let's do this. So we talked a little bit more. You know, blah, blah, blah. End of story. I'm getting a vehicle tomorrow. So they do the Maryland inspection. They come with maintenance service like oil, tire rotations is covered by them. And as a lease, they are actually covered under warranty. So mechanical, engine, non-wear and tear stuff is all covered under the lease. But wear and tear, brakes, tires, windshield wipers, blah, 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 is not. Normal stuff. I was expecting as much. I've been doing my own maintenance on the minivan, so, you know, anything that they're willing to chip in for is a win for me. That leads to the next part of my story, which is even greater. So yesterday, I'm poking around because I was kind of, okay, I have an appointment. What do I need? I need to bring insurance. Let me go online and do some reading up on rideshare versus regular personal use insurance. Here's the skinny, okay? Uber, and we're not going to talk about Lyft because I don't do Lyft, so can't speak to it. Uber covers well, let's go back a step. There's 3 phases of ride-sharing transactions as it's defined by the insurance industry. Phase 1 is you're driving around, your app is turned on, but you don't have a ride and you haven't got a request for a ride yet. Phase 1, just the app is turned on and you're waiting. Okay. Phase 2 is you have a request for a ride and you're on your way to pick the customer up. Phase 3 is delivery. You've picked up the customer and you're taking them to their destination. So here's where insurance, of course, the insurance industry wants to make things complicated. Uber's policy that they cover us with covers us during phase 2 and phase 3. So from the moment you get an accept a ride request and you are en route to that customer's pickup location, you are covered under a policy. It ends when you drop the customer off, the minute you complete trip. What it doesn't cover is the dead time, or as I like to put it, the waiting time, which could be a lot or a little depending on the night, that you spend either relocating or just waiting for that next customer, and what could happen during those times. So that takes us to this next part of my little adventure. Geico, whom I've been with forever, 17, 18 years with Geico, loyal Geico customer, never anybody else, just Geico. Geico's approach to this is, hey, we will write a ride-sharing policy that they want to call a hybrid, but basically it's a commercial auto policy, kind of watered down just for Uber and Lyft, for ride-sharing. Covers all 3 phases, replaces your personal policy on your vehicle. And they also said that they don't cover your vehicle if it's being used for ride sharing. There's actually a clause somewhere in your personal policy that says a vehicle being used for commercial use is not covered. And now, I spoke to Geico people, real live human beings, and they said, look, does that mean we're going to cancel your policy? Not necessarily. But does that mean if you're in an accident and it comes out in the facts that you were working, waiting for, you had your app on, we might deny your claim if you get in an accident. Okay, so the rates that I got for that policy, just for the one vehicle, which I used the minivan because at the time I was just playing. I didn't know anything about what vehicle I was going to get stuck in at that point yesterday. So just using the minivan, my rates went up from $500 every 6 months for one vehicle to $2,500 a year. So it went from $1,000 to $2,500, and that's only one vehicle. That's not covering my other vehicle that my wife drives, which I would still have to pay for under the personal policy. And that's when I said, holy beep, exactly, holy crap. I said, well, pump your brakes. I am gonna have to do some checking into that. As much as I love Geico and I wanna just push the button, that's a lot of money. So let me dig around a little bit. So I go back on the old web and I do some more reading, and I find out that there's lots of insurance companies, I'm not gonna say lots, but several, that are out there covering what's called gap insurance. Now this is not the gap insurance from old, where you buy a car and it doesn't cover the amount that you owe, blah, blah, blah. Not that gap insurance that the car salesman tries to sell you. This is gap insurance specifically for that step one of the 3 steps of ride sharing, where your app is turned on, so you're working, but you don't have a customer yet. You can get a policy, personal, through Allstate. Here's my little 2-cent plug. I'm not being paid to endorse Allstate, but that's what I switched with. And then for a couple bucks more, you can get what's called a ride-sharing addendum. That is a gap policy that only covers you during phase 1. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And my premiums, imagine this, are $50 more. 50 bucks. There you go. So I think Geico was a little bit cheaper if I compared personal to personal. Now here's the deal. I did also upgrade. I've got great driving history, never been in accidents, none of that nonsense. But I was thinking to myself while I was on their website, hey, Allstate has this whole premium plus accident forgiveness and blah, 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 and good rider driving reward, 5% back nonsense. I said, well, I'm a good driver and I don't get speeding tickets or accidents or any of that nonsense. Hey, let's sign up for that stuff and I can get a little, residual income from that. I can get a little reach around. So I did. So my premiums are probably $20 or $30 higher because of that. Because of I bumped myself to a premium, the kind of the perks, instead of just being a standard insurance customer. So all in all, it was a good day. Switched insurance companies, paperwork is done, the vehicle I'll pick up tomorrow. I'm in the minivan tonight. It's being inspected and detailed in the morning, and it should be ready for me sometime around noonish. They're gonna send an Uber at their expense to come and get me, because that was my next question, was I gotta get an hour from my house to where you guys are. And they said, no problemo, we'll take care of that, which I thought was very nice of them. So there you go. So I have good feelings about this whole Uber exchange thing. The money's right where I need it to be. The fuel economy on a Ford Fusion 2016 EcoBoost is pretty darn good compared to the minivan, which is a gigantic box on wheels. So goodbye XL, here comes X. I'm fine with that because I do about 2 XL groups a night, and I'm not going to lose a whole lot of revenue stream from that. I'm just going to end up getting more X customers instead of getting sucked away for an XL customer every now and then. And honestly, what I'll save in fuel economy and gas output each week will be amazing. So 12-minute video. I'm sorry, guys, it's a long one. Did not mean to ramble, but I wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed. And there you have it. I'm going to post this and get this out on the old YouTube. See you guys later.